The following Defending Our America episode is presented without commercial interruption by Sig Sauer.
We were in South Chicago by accident. So I'm walking and a rather large gangster type dude walks up and asks me for money, and no, I'm not gonna give you any money, get out of here. And he proceeded to ask me again a couple of times, and then he and I exchanged words, and then out of the darkness of the night come 4 CPD officers, and they kind of intervened and took that guy off and asked me what I was doing down there. I told them, I'm an out-of-state cop. We're just looking for a restaurant. And they're like, yeah, you don't want to be down here without a gun. And I said, I have one of those. Yeah, but you probably need vests and all that stuff too, so it's probably not a good idea.
I know for a fact there's places in Chicago that they will not go into by themselves. And I don't blame them. I've had the privilege to work in Chicago a couple of times, doing some gang stuff up there. And they are overrun with just evil. Someone kicks in your door, you pick up the phone and you dial 911 because you do not have a firearm because of what your government has said. Unfortunately, a lot of times by the time we're able to get there safely, it already has come to a bad solution.
The citizens there are held hostage essentially by the bad people there, and the bad people know that they have the upper hand, and so they have kind of taken over that city, and it's just super violent.
Within seconds, a warm evening at this Chicago park last night turned into a nightmare.
We have a total of 10 adults and 1 3-year-old.
That number would grow to 13 people shot and wounded.
I can only imagine the level of stress that Chicago police have to deal with. It's tragic. I can't imagine living or working in that environment.
The key to any law enforcement job is the average day citizen being your eyes and ears. If I'm an average everyday citizen and I can't protect my own family, including myself, why would I be your eyes and ears as a cop? I'm only putting myself in that much more danger. And without the eyes and ears of law enforcement, there's simply not enough of them to be able to safely protect the people within their jurisdiction.
If the cops can't stop it, there's got to be a reason why. There's a great deal of disunity and discord within the police department, or they're being held back politically. The cops in Chicago must have their hands tied behind their backs. There must be rules and regulations that are preventing them from getting out on the streets where they need to be and stopping these crimes.
The gun laws in Chicago obviously do not work. The 4th of July, there was, 60-something shootings on the 4th of July in Chicago.
In the 13 hours between Sunday afternoon and early Monday, at the worst of the weekend violence, 4 people were killed and 26 wounded.
At least 1 person was shot on average for every hour of the 4th of July holiday weekend. 14 people are now dead.
And those guns that are being used in the shootings, for the most part, they're illegal guns. They're being used in an illegal manner, and the laws are on the books, and it hasn't slowed it down a bit. So, just piling more red tape and more laws and more, difficulties for law-abiding gun owners to purchase and own a firearm is certainly not the answer.
And what they really have is a gang problem. They have a bunch of people who don't assimilate into society, people who are running criminal organizations, abusing the people of that community, and guns are merely just one of their tools.
You say banning guns will stop gun violence. You're wrong. Violence is the problem. These are people that commit crimes for a living. This is what they do. This is who they are. And so to think that taking away one of their tools stops them from committing crimes when their very nature is to be a criminal, that's just naive. If they're willing to ignore a law against homicide Why would they obey a law against gun possession? It's a fallacy.
Next time on Defending Our America.
I think Iraq's a perfect example of that lack of forward thinking, because you have a political promise made, we're going to get out of these wars, and we did get out of the war. We just didn't end the war.